questions.
How's Deon? Good seeing you again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Deon, we speak about respecting teams in rugby, and you got Portugal this week, but probably not a better sign of respect for a team than the Salvat Stadium. It's going to be quite an interesting and probably a fun test this week.
Well, obviously, as I think as a Springbok, it's always for us about our game and the standards that we set and respecting the opposition, no matter who's our opponents. Reflecting back on last week's performance, obviously we know there's a better standard that we can adhere to, and I think that would be our big focus for this week, as to be the best team that we possibly can be, and improve our performance and ensure that we play to the quality that Springbok rugby are known for.
And what are you guys expecting from your opponents this week? Because they've proven that they're a nice, expansive team, play exciting rugby, and it almost could really lead up to what could be a cracking game between the two sides if it comes open.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they are playing a type of a French style rugby, like to keep the ball alive, move the ball around. They've also in the World Cup have beaten a team like Fiji. I know they've changed coaching staff, but the new coach having a New Zealand background, which we are quite familiar with in terms of the mindset and the standard of attack and defense. Yeah, so for us, it's going to be important that we keep them at bay in terms of how we dominate from an attacking side and from a defensive side, not to allow them into that space to do what they want to do, move the ball around and get momentum. So yeah, I think that would be our big focus in terms of how can we be better in those areas and ensure that we play on our terms and not on the opposition terms.
Guys playing now, getting a chance to play, it's a chance for them to not sort of make a name, they'll already got a name, but to be in the later side when selected. There's 2 or 3 places including again. Is this a chance for these guys to say, yes, I'm here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our strategy for this coming year and going forward is important, and I think part of our strategy one is to ensure that we manage our players effectively. We've got a very tough year still ahead with the Rugby Championship coming up and having been through 2 tough test matches now. So it's important that we look to the collective of the squad in terms of where we are in terms of playing minutes, performance, injuries. And then secondly, our biggest point that we must highlight is building depth for the future. And I mean, we try to be selective in terms of how we can balance that and still ensure that we are competitive and can win test games. And if we select the team and if players gets an opportunity this weekend, I think there will be a lot of motivation from them to ensure that they can claim a place and show that they can play at this level. And that is good if you think about the amount of talent that we have in the country and the depth that we have in positions. So, and you also think about our youngsters up till now that we've given opportunities in the past couple of years. The Arenses, the Moody's, Sasha, Mani, all of those guys that just stepped into certain positions. We would like to see that in more positions, and I think that will grow our game and grow our depth, and then it will allow us to be much more competitive or stay competitive for longer periods of time.
Deon, talking of managing players, are there any other significant bumps and bruises that emanated from what was a very physical contest outside of the Franco's already been moved up test match?
But definitely, if you come from a big test or 2 test, hard test matches like this, there's definitely bumps and bruises. But obviously, it's now about following the medical protocols. Doc has got his hand full in terms of how we address that. And when we know more, we will obviously go to the selection and yeah, and then give more insight in terms of that.
Hi, Coach. For the past 2 weeks, we've seen a 6-2 split. Could we expect anything different now this coming game?
Yeah, obviously it has to do with how we analyze our position and in terms of what our bigger plans are. So I don't think we've got a specific set strategy that we only want to use a 6-2, a 7-1, or a 5-3. We will, as I said, we will be advised to according to different variables, and then we will make that decision.
Not to put any players under spotlight, but in terms of selection and the new system Tony Brown has brought into the setup, has the coaching staff thought of any challenges at half?
As we look at all positions, and we are in a scenario where we want to grow our game, and it's never about one position or one action that eventually decide the outcome. We try to look collectively because everything, whether it's on attack or defense, is set piece. There's always building blocks or things that needs to happen first in order for other things that needs to happen. And everyone must take responsibility and accountability and ownership in order for that to happen. So I think that would be our assessment in terms of our performance in each department, and if we make decisions in terms of what is best for this team going forward, we will take all of those things into account.
You made your debut here 2 years ago, if I remember correctly, against Wales. Another test in between. Looking forward to this weekend, and what is the biggest thing that you learned in your debut against the Welsh in that heartbreaking defeat?
First of all, it's good to be back with Bloem. I think back in the squad as well. And if I do get an opportunity this weekend, it would be an honor. I think anyone who gets an opportunity to play in the Springbok jersey really goes out to make the most out of it. Yeah, I think a lot of growth has happened in the past sort of like 2 years. So yeah, the maturity. So looking forward to this weekend. It's another big game. I don't think, regardless of who we play, it's a big game in the Springbok jersey. So yeah, a lot of growth has happened in maturity in the past couple of years.
Ntuthuko, people say you are the next beast. You like to run with the ball, and you're also a very good scrummager. Is that something you aspire to be like?
Yeah, it's been said a lot, but I think Beast in his own right has set the path, I think, in South Africa for anyone who plays in a similar position and set the bar really high with his accolades. So if I get halfway there, I think it'll be really good. But I want to be my own player. Like you said, I enjoy running with the ball, I enjoy scrumming, enjoy defending. So I want to be a player in my own way. And it's obviously an honor to be almost put together in the likeliness of someone who's done so well for the country. So yeah, I think it's good. Uh, it doesn't really do anything, but yeah, I want to be my own player. I want to be Ntuthuko more than anything.
Deon, there has been a clamour for a third test against Ireland, but also the bigger nations do have the responsibility of growing the game. I mean, if you look at New Zealand are playing Fiji this weekend, Australia playing Georgia, South Africa got Portugal. How important are these tests for one, growing the game, two, also using them as an opportunity to actually, besides growing the squad, also look at work on, because there would have been areas of improvement that emanated across both Ireland tests that do need significant improvement ahead of the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, I think for Portugal, it's going to be one of the biggest game for them in the history of the rugby. I mean, playing against the world champions, the number one team in the world, I think that must be a massive motivation for them, an opportunity for them to test themselves against some of the best talent in the world. And if you play against the best and you continue playing against the best, you get an opportunity to test yourself as individual, but you also get an opportunity to test yourself as a team in terms of your systems and your strategy. And I think that accounts to you growing, players growing as individuals, and the team and the coach. I think that will account for growing the game if you think about that. So I think these type of games are important. to ensure that the quality of the game improves and that also that competitiveness all around globally improves in terms of rugby. And then for us, as I said before, I mean, when we play against Portugal, it's going to be for us all about the focus on us, our standard, and where we want to improve and where we want to go, how we want to grow our game on attack, on defense, in set pieces, whatever. Because we have to look at the future also, looking at the upcoming tests. Teams analyze you, they identify strengths and weaknesses. And if you don't evolve your game or if you don't get better, then obviously they will capitalize with that going into the next test. So, yeah, I think playing against Portugal, against a sold out crowd in Bloemfontein, which we have a lot of gratitude for. We're looking forward to. I know the last time we've played here, we did not get the result that we wanted, and that is obviously something that we want to set right by playing to the best of our ability, to the standard of Springbok rugby, no matter who's on the field, and to ensure that we improve and grow as we go into the season.
Deon, Andre Geventer is a kid that comes from this region. He comes from a very big pedigree. How excited are you as a book management about the prospect of him possibly making a debut this week and starting his own legacy in the sport?
That's actually a catch-22 because if I answer that, I'm saying that he's going to play. I think whenever he's selected, I think just being part of the squad, I think it's already a big achievement. And I think if you reflect on his dad's contribution in the past to Springbok rugby and the icon of the game that he become or that he became in the way he've done things, I think he can be very, very proud of his son in making the squad. And I think deservedly in terms of his performances with the Stormers, getting selected into the squad. I think it would be fantastic if he get this opportunity. And I think it's also a testament of the quality of players that this region delivers on and off the field and management in terms of 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 um, of how they contribute to SA Rugby. So yeah, for him, just like all the other um, youngsters that we have in the squad, I think they deservedly here. I think they deserve the opportunity to be part of the squad, and I think when they do get an opportunity, we are quite confident that they will live up to their promise and perform at this level.
Neil, have you now spoken to Alistair since the weekend's match?
Now, obviously, unfortunately, we did not have contact with him. But yes, we had a look at the game, um, and uh, and well done to Portugal for winning the game. Um, so, as I said, they've also beaten Fiji before. So for us, it can't be a situation of just pitching up and think we're going to get a reward. We need a lot of hard work in order to get a good result because they've competed against a good side with good coaching staff, good management staff, who knows what it takes to perform at this high performance level. So it's going to be important for us to be at our best.